Alright, now let's go make some snow. We're going to go ahead and make sure have the comp selected. We're going to make a new solid, a black solid. We're going to call this background snow. Now in the original footage, or in the original clip, film, movie, whatever, I had two separate layers that I used for the snow. I had a background layer, which is tiny little particles, and then I had a close-up layer, which is ones that come around the camera and even just stick to the camera and whatnot. So, that looks pretty good for now. And we're going to select this background, go to Effect, Trap Code, Particular. We are going to use another preset. We're going to use this Snowy Night. And of course, that's just some particles, if we actually turn on the eye. Just particles falling. But we're going to change it up a little. We're going to center this. We're going to go to the particle. We're going to change the size to 2. And we're going to go to the emitter. It's a box already, so we're just going to bring up the size and Z space, X space, and just bring it up so it looks nice and cool, just so we have some snow falling. And even slide this over and elongate the actual layer, and we'll set these particles to like a smokelet. That way it looks like snow. And we're going to give this a little bit of turbulence by going to the physics, air, and affect the not the size, but the actually we can actually affect the size a little, not too much though. Where am I? And we'll go to the air, of course. Spin, bring that up, strength. I will just leave it, and we'll bring up the wind for the Y, kind of a little bit more. Z space, we'll bring it towards the camera, and the X, we want to make it kind of like fly in the right direction. So turn on motion blur. Surprisingly, it is on. But you know, I don't have that much wind on, so let's bring up the wind. So I'll have a lot of wind, actually. But the more the merrier. I want lots of wind. Turn up the effect position for the turbulent field. That way it's a little bit more random. And we'll change the color of the snow to like a dark, kind of like a dark grayish sort of color. Actually, even a light gray. We can go ahead and duplicate the layer. And oh, what am I doing? Background. Call this foreground. If I spelled that right. And so we're just gonna go ahead and change a little bit more of the wind because I think it should go a little bit faster. So just bring up the wind, if I can find it. All right, there we go. More wind. I'll actually name that background again because and make the foreground on top, and we're going to change the position of the emitters. So just go to the position Z and bring it forward, and that way we have snow that's close to the camera, snow that's far from the camera. Of course, we can change the timing so it looks different, and then even bring up the wind a little bit more, just so it's more random. We got some nice looking snow there. Now go ahead and pre-compose this. we can call this pre-final because we're almost finished. Now we're going to create a new adjustment layer. We're going to go to color correction, brightness and contrast, bring down the brightness, bring up the contrast. I think it's a little too much. Actually, let's have no contrast. Go to color correction, tint, tinted about to 25%. Effect, color correction, curves, and kind of edit some of the, kind of tweak and edit what we can. Go to the blue channel, give some cool looks. Cooler the better, as my brother would say. And we're going to rename this color correction and pre-compose this again. Call this final. And we're actually going to change the composition settings. We're going to make this 1980 or 1920 by 1080, which is 720p. Lock the aspect ratio, and we have it a little bit bigger than the frame, which is good, so you can see the difference, and that's pretty good right now. We can go ahead and delete this marker since we're not going to be using it anymore, and we already have our effect and everything, so we got it looking pretty good. So now we're going to add a little bit of camera motion. So click P for position, click a stopwatch, and we actually set a keyframe right here and kind of make the camera shift to the side a little bit like it's looking. And then select all of the keyframes, go to the wiggler. If you can't see, go to window, the wiggler, and we're going to set the frequency of the position to 3 and the magnitude to 3, frequency to actually 5, and apply it. That way we have a little bit of camera shake. And then we'll go to rotation, set a keyframe for the beginning, and set a keyframe for the end. Select all of it, frequency to 3, and the magnitude to 1.5, and apply it. And if I ran preview this here. Okay, now we can check out what we rendered. So we got this nice looking meteor strike. Well, another thing you can do is also turn on motion blur and turn on for the layer, so when the camera moves there's actually some blur from the actual motion. And even what else I also changed the height to, I think it was 720. I made it really wide frame so it looks a little bit more cinematic, and I think the frame weight is at 24.976, 23.976, and okay it, and I think we got a nice looking effect. And all we have to do next is select the composition, add to render queue, and just change all this stuff, and then you have your little thing. So thanks for watching. I hope you guys learned from this, and my name is David Zekthi, Lightning Fire Productions, and I'll see you guys next time.